Good morning, guys. So welcome in this episode number 5 already. So in today's session, I want to improve a couple of things. So let's take them step by step. So this is the prompt I'm gonna put into Cloud on my VPS on the right. So first thing, on the SaaS GUI, I want to change this hostname placeholder. So instead of core, I want to mention access. So it's just a basic change. Second one, I want to reduce the VLAN section. So instead of suggesting 4 different VLAN, I'm just going to make it to 3 as a start. It's good enough for me, I think. I want to remove the active access port. So if we scroll down, we can specify the number of access ports that are going to be configured on the access switch. I don't think it makes sense anymore, so I'm just going to remove that part. But obviously we want to keep that intention into the additional context. So if you want to configure port 1 to 12 in VLAN 20, for example, just put it there. Okay. Next one, which is the biggest update, I want to merge the device identity and the services management because it's kind of redundant to me. Why? Because there is a bit of management IP address in there. There's a bit of system configuration in there. So for me, it should be part of the same global configuration. So this is what we are telling that in the prompt. So it's going to regroup everything in a section called configuration. And I think it's going to show up here in different group, in different subsection. Not sure exactly how it's going to look. But that's that. Next task, as we are focusing on access switches for now, I want to improve the uplink port section. So an access switch should be either linked by one uplink or two uplink. So if we are using two uplinks, it should be configured as port channel or LACP. And so depending on the switch model, the tool is going to be able to generate one or two interfaces part of port channel 1, for example. Second thing, the best practice will be to only tag the access, the VLAN, the client VLAN we configured on the switch. So on our trunk between the access and the core switch, we will only have a specific VLAN. That will be our recommendation, our best practice. But I think we're gonna put a toggle button to tag all VLAN in once, because that might be the use case for your company. Let's scroll down. So it's gonna update the switch profile by adding the uplink. So the specific interface naming for each switch model, and then we're gonna restart the GUI. So let's start with this, put it in the prompt on the right, tac, let's go. So I guess for the biggest part, like the merging logic, it's gonna take a bit of time. So I'm just gonna cut that and get back when almost ready. Okay, so after almost 3 minutes, Cloud say that it had a complete clear vision of what was configured. So now it's gonna start editing the change on the different file. Let's check the usage. 23%. Let's get back in a bit. So now it's starting working on redesigning the whole access switch form. So for me it's the whole form here. And actually in a bit we will remove that router part for now, because we don't want to focus on router or core switches yet. We want to have a complete access switch templating tool. So yeah, we will just remove the router part in a bit. So we keep going by the edition of index.html. And now it's restarting the web services. So almost after 6 minutes, I think it's been the longest so far since I've used Cloud Code. Yes, dilly-dallying, 6 minutes 35 seconds and 37k token. So right now we are at 36% usage. Now it's just testing the changing it's made. So that's the great part about Cloud Code. It's deploying the changing it was expected, and it's automatically testing what should be expected in the file. So that's pretty amazing. So we are all done. So as always, I'm just gonna copy this to get that ready in the prompt. And we're gonna test. So I'm just gonna expand a bit this. Update. It's still responding, so that's good. So we can see that the design has changed a bit. So there is one main form which is called configuration. This is what we expect. So we can put hostname, model, iOS. Then there is a management section. Just the free VLAN, the system settings about DNS, NTP, syslog. Then it's talking about the number of uplinks, so 1 uplink or 2 uplinks. Select a model first, impressive. Do you want to tag everything or just tag specific VLAN only, so the one we're gonna put in there, I believe. Or do you want to tag all on the trunk? Amazing. And at the end, additional context. That's awesome. So we're gonna test this. Test switch Charmant. Let's take 9200L 24 ports. Okay. Still in release 17.12. Our management IP will be this one. We're just gonna reuse the field. VLAN 10, VLAN 20, VLAN 30. Printer. Let's change that. IoT and users, for example, on a Wi-Fi. Domain name, leave it blank. It's gonna generate a default one. DNS server, yes, let's put 8.8.8.8. Internal NTP server, this one for now. So let's say that I want only tagged VLAN only. So in theory, yeah, only allows configured VLAN. So we should expect those 3 VLAN plus the management VLAN. And let's try. So you see, as we've selected this model, it automatically chose interface gig 111 as the uplink port. Let's try to pick 2 uplinks. And it's now suggesting 111 plus 112. That's crazy. The security option, we leave it like that. Access port should be shut down by default. And let's say we are in the Asia, Tokyo region. Additionally, assign port 212 in VLAN 20, for example, the IoT VLAN. Nice. Let's try to generate the config. Okay. We still have our spinning wheel plus our emailing list. So that's great. So far, so good. It's just impressive. So I will need to really see see how long it takes to generate the config. Usually it takes around 30 seconds, but I will need to really time this. Okay, so this is our generated config. Let's see if we can find all the details. So hostname, IP name, and domain name. Okay, so this is interesting. So we got our free VLAN plus it generated a native VLAN, which is 99, and a black hole VLAN. Native VLAN. We need to see what this VLAN 99 is for. Interesting part is the port channel. So it created a PO1 interface, uplink to core LACP. We can find our native VLAN, which is usually, so this is our management VLAN. And we can see that it has only trunked our client VLAN, so 10, 20, 30, and 99. So excellent, no shutdown. And port 1 to 12 should be assigned to VLAN 20. That's good. It's still in a shutdown state because this is what we selected anyway. But yeah, seems crazy good for me. And here we can see interface 111 and 112, part of the PO1 interface, pre-configured in a no shutdown state. Nice. Time zone seems correct for Tokyo. Excellent. So far so good. Let's just feed that back. All is working perfectly clear on the SaaS. Just want to see if it's suggesting recommendation for next steps. Blah 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 blah. Okay, it's talking French. Nice. Okay, so we're all good. At least we've told Claude about where we are. So amazing result so far for me. So just another quick change. I've asked Claude to completely remove the router tab in the index main page because it's not necessary for now. I want to fully focus on access switches, but potentially I will get back to that in future episode if there is a need from you guys to generate router config. Okay. So let's make the change here on the right. It's already restarting the process. It's testing the change. Test successful. Okay, so let's update on the left. Okay. So the configuration, the router tab has completely disappeared. So that's great. Okay, so last part of episode number 5, we're gonna make a couple of other changes. So this is the prompt I'm gonna put. Actually, it's just there. So we never really looked at the TACACS configuration. So I've added a bit of configuration on this to follow best practices. And talking about this, I'm gonna add the configuration as well for radius authentication. Okay, so using primary plus secondary radius in case of issue. Next thing, it was about DHCP snooping. So DHCP snooping is to make sure we prevent DHCP rogue server on the access port. So DHCP snooping will be applied on the access port, but will be trusted on the uplinks because DHCP should be coming from the core switches or any other DHCP server on the network. Next step, we want to increase SSH accessibility because we want to add some timeout. So for example, after 10 minutes of inactivity, you're going to be kicked out of SSH, your SSH access. and we want to restrict the number of authentication. So if there is some kind of brute force attack, we want to make sure that after free authentication failure, you're going to be blocked to connect on the device. Okay. On top of this, we're gonna add a management access list, which will be applied on the VTY 0 to 15 to make sure only a couple of IP address can access the management interface. And as always, the configuration will be generated depending on the switch model. So if there is a dedicated management interface or a dedicated SVI for that. Okay, so give me the prompt. Tech. So this is TACACS, this is the Radius server. Okay, let's go. Tech. And in the meantime, I want to show you something. So when I was offline, I made some edit about the header. So I wanted to have a bit of explanation about what this SaaS was doing. So it's just to understand that this SaaS for now is focused on generating Cisco access switch best practice template based on the best recommendation. So it supports up to 25 Cisco switches. It supports all the security hardening included, and yeah, it's just to give a bit of context. Okay. I might remove the AI mention because I don't want it to be feel like a cheap tool. But yeah, we can delete that later. Okay, so it's running on the right. Let's track the usage as always. So we are at 23% for now. So Cloud is just inspecting all the all the file within the VPS. So let's wait a couple of minutes. I'll get back when it's moving. So it's already been more than 6 minutes. Okay, it's finally moving, right. So it's inspecting all the code. Now it's gonna edit all the files. So let's go. %39% used. Let's see if it's working for a bit. Okay, it's moving. Tac. Editing the app.py. Now update the HTML. I'm not sure if this is what we expect. Oh, okay, if it's just a placeholder, that should be fine. 45% used. I think it's the max we reached so far. Okay, so editing the index HTML. Yes. it's rechecking the app.py. Okay. 40% used. Everything looks good now. Restock unicorn. Nice. Okay. So yeah, almost 10 minutes to run that changes. I thought it would have been quicker, but it's not. But it's fine. That's no worries. Yes. 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 It seems to have a bad time trying to reload the web services. Unicorn isn't running. Let me start it fresh. Okay. Unicorn is up and running. Let me do a quick sanity check on the final state of both files. Everything is in place. Here's the summary of what we did. Okay, so as always, I'm gonna prep this there. So copy paste, I mean. So we have a trace. Tac, tac, tac. Okay. And now we're gonna refresh. It's still working, so that's good. So let's give it another test. The changes is that I think there is a placeholder which was missing there. Same for default gateway. No, okay, yeah. So there is a new field, management subnet, which is optional. So this is like a subnet which will be added in the management access list. So that's pretty cool, I guess. So at least it will give a hint for the network engineer to update and add more entries into that list later on. Then we have TACACS radius, or the option of having both. Let's leave it like that for now. And I think that's all. So let's test switch armor, catalyst. Let's reuse the same IP model, 10, printer, yeah, it's fine. So let's try this, 172.16.200.0/24. Let's say it's one of our trusted subnet in the company that we want to be able to reach from network devices. Actually, I haven't seen that, but yeah, do we want to authenticate with local only, TACACS radius, or TACACS and radius? So let's try TACACS. Actually it's giving 2 IP, nice. And what about TACACS and radius? Okay. So let's just use radius. Let's do 192.168, 15.1, shit, tac 15.2, enable .1x, no, I mean not for now. DHCP snooping, yes, let's try that. And I think that's good for now. And let's just use that as well, all VLAN. We want to tag all VLAN on the trunk. Generate, let's see if that still works. And the final usage was at 49% for cloud. Okay. Okay. So let's look at the config. So we can see the radius model. So AAA new model. It's defined a group of servers with primary, secondary, and radius will be done from the management interface on the 9300. Then authentication will be done first via the radius server group, plus in case of failure, it will have local fallback. Great. So we've got this command now, login block 120, attempt free within 60. So I guess this is the version on the 9300 model to restrict the login on the management interface. Okay, IP SSH. So we've got this as well. Timeout 60, retries free. So to prevent brute force attack. We've got a new access list which is called management access. So we are allowing this subnet to SSH into our access switch. So we can see that it added more stuff on the access port. I will need to review this. So switch port security. Let's see what it does. There is an IP DHCP snooping command, so this is what we expect as well, but we will need to see what rate 15 means. But it seems pretty good. I think that something is wrong because our config ends at port 23. So if we just do netconfgen, we selected the 48 port model, and we are just going up to port 23, which is wrong. Okay, let's investigate that part because it's quite critical. Okay, so I gave the feedback to Cloud AI, and it seems to be saying that there is an API Cloud limit. So it's suggesting to upgrade from 4096 to 8192, about the maximum token to be used. Let's see if that makes any change. I'm gonna run the exact same stuff. So let's go back to Cisco config generator. Okay, so let's take the same specs. So 9448 port, management IP, TAC, VLAN 10, management subnet, TAC. We did radius with this IP, DHCP snooping, generate. Okay. In progress. Can you explain what it does for the token usage in the background, just to understand a little bit more? So before, Cloud was generating up to 4,000 token output, and Cloud is stopping just in the middle. Okay. So yeah, if it's using more tokens, it means it's costing us more per template generation. Let's see how it goes. Okay, you can see here, gateway timeout. Great. Recap, security hardening updates, and a max token fix for token JID. Okay, so let's feed that back. I'm not sure if it's reloaded with, see, timeout. Timeout 2 minutes. Tac, tac, tac. Tac, tac. So now the template generator is broken. Okay, so we are somewhere. I did something else in the background offline. We've had a 504 gateway timeout HTTP response. So Claude suggested to update the Nginx timeout as well, and this is what we did. I just reloaded the page without re-putting all the details on the SaaS, and it seems to be working now. So we can see our 48 port plus the uplink port, which is trunking all VLAN, which is expected. And yeah, the last part I wanted to check was the line VTY 015, where we did apply an access list, the management access list in. So that's good. The only thing is that I think it's missing the command to apply the radius profile. So at that point, we want to be able to log in SSH with the radius access, and we're missing one line in there. So we will do that in the next video. Alright, so this is the end of this episode number 5 already. Thank you for watching. Again, please come have a look at this SMAS we are building together, netconfgen.com. I invite you to test and to leave your feedback into the feedback page. So netconfgen.com/feedback, or just put some comment on this YouTube video. Please feel free as well to subscribe to this channel so you can be updated on the upcoming or latest video. Please leave a thumb up for the video as well, so we can be ranking in the YouTube system. And yeah, I'll see you in episode number 6. Bye bye.